Greetings, Fright Nights and Monster Girls. It's your old pal Count Jackula from the planet Dracula. And tonight, we're here to pay tribute to the legendary horror director, Wes Craven.
There isn't much that I can say about Wes Craven and his contribution to horror that hasn't been said 1,000 times. His films have a hallowed place in the library of every horror fan in the world. The Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, Scream, not to mention his most famous film, A Nightmare on Elm Street. For most of us, Craven has been there since we first saw blood splattered across the screen.
But there are some things that have escaped the attention of most. Little things, really, that make the man and his work all the more enigmatic and wonderful. So sit tight as I tell you 5 things I bet you didn't know about Wes Craven.
Number 5. We're gonna start with one that almost every Fright Night and Monster Girl already knows, but just in case there's fresh meat out in the audience,
And you know who you are.
we're going to let you in on a little secret. Without Wes Craven, there would be no New Line Cinema. You see, back in the day, our buddy Wes had this killer idea for a slasher movie about a guy that killed people in their dreams. Problem was, no distributor wanted anything to do with it. That was until they got to the last stop on the block. Shit, back then it wasn't even a stop. New Line Cinema was a little podunk operation with no offices that distributed documentaries to college theaters. But they wanted to be in the real picture business. So when Wes Craven came to them with A Nightmare on Elm Street, they jumped at the chance. And the rest is history. Imagine what the world would be like if that hadn't happened.
Think about it. No Lord of the Rings movie, no Blade. No Blade, no Marvel boom. But worse than that, if we didn't have New Line Cinema, there would have been no 976 Evil and no My Demon Lover. We couldn't live in a world like that.
The thing is directed by Freddy Krueger himself. It's that good. Number 4. Though he won't disclose what exactly his role was, Wes Craven was on the production of the infamous porno film Deep Throat.
Man, you gotta wonder, did that inspire this scene? 'Cause I'm thinking yes.
Number 3.
When you think about it, horror directors are people with a pretty freaky job. Murder, blood, and rape are the orders of the day. So when you're a man who films scenes like this, what do you do for a hobby? Seems like all the fun stuff is at the office.
Well, if you're Wes Craven, the answer is birdwatching.
Birdwatching. Wes Craven was a birdwatcher. A birdwatcher. A birdwatcher. 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 This. He watched this for fun. He was on the board of directors of the California Audubon Society. Birdwatcher. This. Whenever he could.
Number 2. Man, the 90s sucked for American horror. While other genres were starting to resemble the blood orgies of the 80s, the rusty clippers of PG-13 and meta humor were cutting real horror off at the balls. Well, you know what I say to that?
Hey guys, it's the 90s. Guess who I am?
Do the Cobain, do the Cobain, do the Cobain, put a bullet in your brain. Now don't get me wrong, there were plenty of bloody and extreme horror movies being made in the 90s. In other countries! But in the land of the free, oh no! We were trading in the punch of gore for the tickle of meta horror. And that shit started with Scream.
Behind you. Behind you.
But you probably don't know what the real tragedy is. That is,
There's an uncut version of Scream that you're probably never gonna get to see.
you see, the original Scream was actually a more brutal movie. But the MPAA sent it back NC-17, which is the kiss of death for a theatrical release. So they made cuts. Now you'd think in the decade that created the unrated cut for home video release, an uncut Scream would be in wide circulation by now.
Wrong!
Because outside the Laserdisc and a recalled VHS release, the US has never seen the unrated, uncut version of Scream. In fact, the only place you can get it is Germany. What the fuck, America? Hitler won after all. Where is our uncut version of Scream? And the number one thing about Wes Craven and his work you probably didn't know
was that Robin Williams was considered for the role of Freddy Krueger. Oh yeah. For real.
I swear I am not making that up. One of the names that came up during the casting of Freddy Krueger was Robin fucking Williams. Now when you think about Williams' performance in something like 1 Hour Photo, you can kinda see it. But remember, this was back in 1985. He hadn't even done Dead Poets Society yet. What was it Craven saw that made him think Robin Williams could pull off such a terrifying role? Now, nothing can replace Robert Englund as we've seen, but do not tell me you wouldn't watch that. Hell, that's what they should have done for that remake.
You ain't never had a friend like me.
And now, with your minds significantly blown, Fright Nights and Monster Girls, that's all the time we have for now. If there are any tidbits about Wes Craven or his work you feel I missed, feel free to leave it in the comments section below, and I look forward to reading it. So until next time, always creep it real.